As great as Frank was, it's that time. It's time for some quick hits.
Let's go, Gab.
Now, Jules, let's start close to home. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is out of contract in June 2021, as we all know. Are they talking to him about a new deal? Do they want to dump him? Do they have any idea? Do they need to wait to see if they're going to be in the Champions League next year?
Well, there was a bit of excitement, I think, on Monday from Arsenal fans because the L'Équipe newspaper in France wrote that the club had offered Aubameyang a new deal. Unfortunately or fortunately, but it depends. It was not the case in the sense that they haven't started properly talking concrete talks about a new deal and what the future holds because of the pandemic. Because I think they're really focused right now on being as ready as possible for when the league resumes, which is fair. And then after that, they will talk. It's very clear, as you know it. It's either he's happy to sign a new deal and the club wants to keep him for longer. He's 31 at the end of the month. So you also have to be careful of what you do. You can't give him a 10-year deal when he's 31. But there's that bit. If he doesn't want to sign the deal or you can't find an agreement or anything like this, then it's either you sell him now and get a bit of money, maybe 20, 25 million pounds, or you keep him and he runs down his contract and then the following summer in 2021 he goes for free. It's a tricky situation and he's not the only player, by the way, at Arsenal right now with just 1 year left on his contract. It's a scenario that a lot of clubs have with some big players or less big players, but it's something that they will have to sort out. And I'm not even sure what the best solution is right now.
I'm not even sure who could take him on, although there's been suggestions he could be Barcelona's plan B. I think that might actually make, if they don't get Lautaro, I think that might actually make a little bit of sense in some ways. On the other hand, it's another 30-something with an enormous wage. Now, we didn't have a COVIDiot of the week last time. We have one now. It's Phil Foden. What's he done, Jules?
Phil Foden went to the beach. Not sure already that was a good idea. And then
Sorry. For people clever, I might be a little confused about it. Wait a minute. Like, Phil Foden lives in Manchester. What beach? He went to Formby, which is what the English call a beach. And there's sand there and there's water. And if it's sunny, no, I just want to make clear. It's not like,
well,
it's not like this dude was in like Copacabana. It's not the sort of beach that most people think in terms of holiday beach. It's more of a north of England type beach.
Yeah, but it was still very sunny and very hot, and there was a lot of people there. And then once he was there, he started playing football on the beach, which I guess you could do, not really social distancing. And then he thought it was a good idea to take photos and selfies with fans who obviously recognized him. And it's just one of those that players have to be careful like everybody else. You can, I guess the lockdown has eased a little bit, so you could do a bit more things than maybe 2 or 3 months ago, but you still have to be careful. So I think he will get told off and everybody will move on.
Yeah, there's a whole pandemic aspect to it. I think there's also a whole safety aspect to it as well. I mean, you're playing football on the beach. What if one of these guys mistimes a tackle? It's still England, right?
Yeah.
People are aggressive. True. People do get competitive, and you hurt yourself. It just seems such a weird thing to do.
Bayern Munich traveled to face Bayer Leverkusen and your friend Peter Bosz this weekend, Gab. If they are to lose the title, they have to lose it there, right? They play Leverkusen away, as you said, this weekend, and then at home to Gladbach the following weekend. So the following games. So those next 2 games will probably decide it, you think?
Well, I think it's largely already decided. I mean, this is kind of like total grasping at straws time, I think. Sure. But yeah, look, Leverkusen beat them earlier this year. Gladbach also beat them earlier this year. They would have to lose those 2 games. They'd have to lose or drop points somewhere else. And, Dortmund would have to go and win every game. I mean, it's basic arithmetic here.
Yeah.
I actually think Leverkusen could get something out of this, despite their weirdo ups and downs that they seem to have with Peter Bosz. Just because Havertz, maybe the emotion. But this way, it's not a game that if you're Flick, you want to take lightly. You just want to get the business done, get your points here, and move on.
Do you think similar plan than they had against Dortmund, where you could just be efficient? Even a draw is not a bad thing, to be fair.
No question about it. I think that would make sense. I think it's easier to motivate your players to play that way against Dortmund than it is to play against this bunch of bosses, of Peters. It's just the way they play. Look. Now, your buddies at RMC Sport are reporting that Pep Guardiola rang up Milan midfielder Ismail Benacer. Gee, I wonder who told them. Probably not Pep, I'm going to guess. Jules, does this flirtation make sense? Would Benacer be a good fit at City?
So I find this very interesting for a few reasons. The first one is he's not Pep's type of holding midfielder, really. You know, he's not the one that could do Fernandinho used to do. However, Pep can certainly make him into a new David Silva in the sense that I think Benacer can be one of the most complete midfielders in the world. He can
David
defend,
Silva, really?
Yeah. I think he can be an amazing number 8 in the sense that he can create. I think he's good enough technically to create. I know he plays a bit deeper, and he had a fantastic year, I thought, with Milan once he adapted to the new team and change of manager, etc. But he had a wonderful African Cup of Nations with Algeria when they won it, for example. He can play. He can be creative. I think he can defend. He runs a lot. He's a very intelligent player. Okay, he's small and short, and he's not the tallest, and he won't win the ball in the air. But I really would like to see what kind of player Pep can make of him. Signs him.
I see him more as a Gundogan type without the stupid mustache that Gundogan grew last year.
But don't you think he can also play a bit higher and be more efficient in the last 30 yards, in the last third?
It's not what he's. I mean, so can Gundogan theoretically. Remember, I mean, last time before.
True.
I don't know. Possibly. I mean, I'm so used to seeing him in that sort of playmaking role that he played at Empoli and stuff. It's different a little bit with Algeria, but a tremendous footballer. He has a release clause reportedly of 45 million.
Yeah,
I think 50 million euros, which would be a tremendous piece of business for Milan as well. Although I think Milan look at it and say, you know what, this guy can get even better.
Right, and finally, Gab, both Adidas and Mercedes are reportedly now extending their lucrative sponsorship deals with Mesut Ozil. Is it just getting older, or do you think there's more to it? What do you think?
I mean, obviously, Ozil's had a lot of bad press. I would assume that it's just still because he's getting older, because, you know, he has a certain, when people sign sponsorship deals, it's because a guy has a certain profile. I mean, he was playing for the national team and he was playing for Arsenal. Now his contract is winding down at Arsenal. It's not clear how often he's going to play. I think we can pretty much take it as read that Arsenal will not give him a new deal. So yeah, if I'm paying this dude to go and promote my wares and he's not in the limelight, doesn't have the visibility, I think that's all it is. I'll go and pay somebody else who's more in the public eye. I think that's what happens. I don't think it's, you know, as some people have suggested, I don't think it's some kind of vengeance against Ozil for some of the political views he's expressed in the past, or indeed for some of the issues he's had at Arsenal.
And maybe he doesn't want to to work with them anymore as well. It might be good for him too, and he might think, you know what, it's time to maybe have a change and
make less money.
No, but I don't know. Maybe that works for him.
He can focus on his coffee shop empire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. His post-retirement future.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.